Hello everyone and welcome to Lockdown Lads. I'm Andy Newton-Lee and I'm here in a very sort of like June gloom Los Angeles here. We've got some great guests on today. We've got my old friend Phil Turner, who is, where are you, Phil?
Hampstead.
Oh, you're not dogging, are you?
Lovely old, not at the moment, no. I've got around, you know.
Stay off that heath, Phil Turner. We've got a friend of mine, Ben Foden. Where are you, Ben?
I'm in New York, but I haven't got a sign like you. Sorry, you didn't give me the heads up for that one. Otherwise I would have.
Okay, we've got my other friend of a friend, which is Levi Davis, who was on X Factor with you.
Yeah. Indeed. Good old days. The good old days.
Before Corona.
Well, on that note, let's go into it. So we're going to talk about the news. Boris has changed the rules today from 2 meters to 1 meter. So I don't know about you boys, but I'm confused about this. Phil, where do we start?
Well, I think it's actually a good thing already, because in London, to me, it seems that, you know, this R rate, yes, it keeps going up and down slightly, but it's still below what they seem fit enough to actually bring it down to 1 meter, everyone else getting together. Because at the end of the day, we need to open places. I think pubs, bars, restaurants, in some sort of, you know, normal way, they need to come back. If not for jobs, if not for the economy, it's everything else. And equally, if we're still all trapped at home and just drinking from cans of beer all the time, it's really not good for the health.
Well, I did that
last sit at a pub and then just socialise, and for your mental health, it's better, and just for normality. Because on one hand, you can go, you know, you can now go to a park or you can go and meet up with people. And then you're seeing people, you know, wandering around the streets that are actually getting closer. So it makes sense to do that. And I think we can all be sensible, you know, washing your hands, keeping a slight distance. You're not going to go around bumping into each other and everything. So I think it's a good thing, personally.
Right, Levi, you're a sportsman. You know, you're a lad. What do you make of all this? Because it's disconnecting us in so many ways, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, if you're going to reduce it from 2 meters, maybe as well reduce it to nothing, because, like, a meter, what even is that? If you're walking on the street, you know, you're going to be right next to somebody anyway, and in a shop as well, you're going to be next to them. They are doing their best to, you know, separate the aisles and things like that. But if you're going to, what is sending the message? What is the message sent by reducing it from 2 meters to 1 meter? Because people were doing that anyway. So now people are going to get even closer. But I do agree, it is a good thing, Philip. I do agree, and you know, it is the fact that we're moving forward and progressing, and pubs and bars and things are beginning to open up again. So yeah, no, it's a bit of both. I don't understand what the meter rule is. Is it just to keep people aware, or is it to, you know, help open things up and justify that? I don't know.
Well, I don't understand any of this. So, Ben, what's going on the East Coast and what messages are you getting?
Well, that's the thing. I think we're so uneducated about it. I think I'm hearing now that it's actually asymptomatic. So basically, everyone was worried saying that you could have no symptoms and be passing it on, whereas now the rumor is that that's not true, that only if you were like, you had it and you were coughing and spluttering, then you could pass it on. So, you know, everyone's guessing about how. So if that is true, then the whole meter rule, the 2 meter rule, doesn't really make any difference. It's just if you come in contact with someone who's ill. So you just, you know, you wear your mask, you wear your gloves, you sanitize, and you keep the hell away from anyone who's sort of like coughing and spurting and looks ill. Here in the East Coast, to be fair, here in the East Coast, it is crazy. It's gone crazy anyway. Like, you know, New York's a very, you know, it's like its own little world and just everything that's happened in the last 2-3 months is just bananas. And so, to be honest, when we started hearing about Corona, I honestly, when I started hearing the reports, I thought it was going to be like, you know, the Walking Dead zombie apocalypse. Everyone's going to be like roaming the streets and looting all the supermarkets for foods and stuff. So me and my wife just sort of got out of Dodge move to the country a little bit.
Well, Ben, I wanna stop you there, mate, because I went into Hollywood Boulevard yesterday, where I lived for 15 years, and it is like The Walking Dead. No,
What do you mean by that then, Andy? What's it like?
there's homeless people walking down the street with like as the Joker. And
Really?
yes, guys. I keep saying to people, it starts at Hollywood Boulevard, right? There's this massive revolution of mental illness which is coming out of American society, which we haven't recognised for many years, and we're going to talk about mental health at the end of this. But I just want to bring in Karen from Facebook, who is the ultimate unawakened hun, and she's going to bring me my coffee because I'm actually living at Karen's house at the moment. Hi, Karen, how are you doing?
I feel sorry for Karen.
Karen, come here.
She deserves a medal to have you staying with her.
Please help me.
Hey, I need my almond milk in this.
Oh,
Where's my almond milk? Don't put that on Facebook, right? So we're going to change quarantine.
God damn it, Karen! I said 2 sugars.
No sugar for me. That's part of the fucking problem. Right. So we're going to change this from quarantine to Karen time. So I want to know, boys, today about this Karen woman. Who the hell is Karen? Karen. Phil Turner.
Yeah.
Who's Karen? I don't know who Karen is. Who is she?
I don't think they've heard of this, Andy. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this phase that's going through America?
I invented Karen. I invented Karen.
But I think Ben, you'll be better at explaining it. But I think it's a certain type of woman who's pedantic, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure your Karen comes under that stereotype.
Brilliant.
Phil,
Ben, you can give it a good explanation.
I think someone needs to explain this to me.
Right, basically.
Go on, Ben.
Basically,
Ben,
when basically someone goes out of their way to be like a nose is the best way to explain it. Yeah. So say there's a good one where a guy's driving a Lamborghini around a place, and a Karen stops him and says, "Your car is too loud. I've seen you drive around here a few times now, and your car is far too loud. I'm calling the police on you." And the guy's like, "What? What are you talking about?" So they call she's like a Karen, someone who like.
Yeah. Well, like Jobsworth people, you mean? Yeah,
exactly, Phil. Yeah. Jobsworth.
They just don't mind their own business,
Yeah.
Go out of their way to try and annoy other people, effectively.
What I want.
I live with a Karen. Put it that way.
Okay.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know that. I've been out with you guys. I know what Gary's like.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to talk about mental health, which is obviously an undercurrent topic which has not been talked about in society because we can't see it. Phil.
A bit like coronavirus.
Oh God, don't Levi. Phil, no, Levi, what do you think about mental health? You're a sportsman. Part of mental health dialogue is meditation, which is exercise. It's all rolled into one. Tell us what you're doing.
For me, to be honest, I struggled for a little while when I came off the show. Coming from the best time ever. I'd made my Premiership debut.
Mate, I was watching it in LA because and I saw you, Tommy, and Ben.
Yeah.
And I thought those boys are just living the dream, aren't they?
It was so good.
It was so much fun.
I'd come off that and then I just made my Premiership debut. Then we'd already been to LA. Then the first show aired, and then that popped off. We were doing newspaper stuff. It was a new world for me, really. And then I went from that, and then I went back to the club. I was buzzing to try and go back and play, and then I never got selected. For when I came back, and then almost was like a roller coaster, and I just finished it, and my everything had gone boom in my head anyway. It obviously hadn't, but I felt like I dropped off a cliff, and then I just resorted to going out a lot, drinking, just partying, and then it was then I got myself into this cycle, and then I just couldn't pick myself out of it for a while. So coronavirus for me was actually a really a really good turning point because I flipped things on its head. But yeah, no, mental health is so important, and it is one of those things where I'd already hit the self-destruct button, and I was like, well, I don't care then. If I'm not going to do what I love and nothing else is happening, I'm just gonna go out and hit the self-destruct button. I don't care what happens to me, and then it just went down and down. So yeah, no, it is really important.
Well, you know my thoughts, Andy, on reality shows. Not looking after people enough, and you know the thing with celeb and reality show, you sort of know how it works. You know what you're getting yourself into. You know, and to equally, you sort of got to prepare yourself. When they keep dragging people in from everyday life, but they don't look after them properly, and they're suddenly just thrust into the limelight, it's a massive shock to the system. And then when they're suddenly just dumped, and you either got to try and get back to normality or back to your old job, which actually is a bit difficult because you're being gawped at, you're getting this, you want a bit of fame, you know, it's difficult. So
I must say they did look after us, to be fair.
Yeah.
We were well looked after. ITV did really well look after us. I think it was more me in my head and thinking like where I wanted to be, and thinking that the show would bridge the gap. But it's one of those things where, you know, I've almost got to relook at where I am and then start again. But that was where I must have lost my head anyway, Ben.
Ben, what's your take on mental health? Because you're living this, you've lived in the UK and you're now living in the United States, or the not so United States as I'm calling them at the moment. The some right states in the United States. Ben, what are your thoughts, mate?
Well, like Levi mentioned, it's actually like a real common thing in professional sport, especially in rugby, because especially for a lot of sportsmen, especially in England, because you come out of school and you go straight into professional sport. It's not quite the same as America, because you always made sure that you get your college degree before you join the NFL, the NBA, the MLS, or whatever sport you're doing. But in England with rugby, you leave high school, you join an academy, you get signed full time, and rugby is just your life. And, you know, you have a real schedule. And when you're like, you know, your career ends when you're 34, 35, like my age. And I still have in my head, you know, 3 years ago, I still thought I was invincible and that I was going to play this game forever. And there would be a constant paycheck and the crowds would all scream my name all the time. And then all of a sudden, I was at Northampton Saints for 10 years and they get rid of me. We come to contract negotiations. It doesn't match up. I leave. And I'm thinking there'll be an uproar. They'll remember me forever there. I was there for 10 years. I was an England international. We won the first Premiership trophy. And literally, I turned up 2 months after I left and watched a home game. And, you know, I was a forgotten face. They were cheering someone else's name. There was another guy wearing my shirt doing equally as well. And he was the next big upcoming thing and potentially playing for England. And I was sort of forgotten. I was just a sort of face or a ghost on the wall at Northampton. And it does play with your head, like mentally. And you start to think, oh God, what's next for me? What am I going to do with my life? I'm 35 years old. I haven't, you know, saved my money particularly well to make me, you know, it's not like I'm an NFL player earning $10 million a game. You know, you've got to sort of reassess. And like Levi mentioned, going on a show like X Factor as well, suddenly you're thrust upon the media spotlight and picked apart. And, you know, for me as well, I was in a high profile marriage, which fell apart and was picked apart very openly by papers and reading comments and going online. And then obviously Instagram and Twitter make you very acceptable for people to comment and tell you their opinions of you. And it gets to you, and it messes with your head. And if you're not surrounded with the right people, luckily, you know, I've got great friends and great family who've always centered me and always, you know, been there to support me and reaffirm me. But, you know, there's always times in people's lives where you have to question yourself and you do things, you drink a little bit too much, you go out too much, and you know, you eventually hopefully find your way back.
Yeah. You meet some right states like Andy.
I don't. Well, so Phil, I want to ask you, because you understand the whole fame game, and you know, you've got your own narrative on this. What is your experience of fame? And you've got reality TV friends, and you've got people that are in the public eye, and mental health.
Yeah, for me, look, at the end of the day, I was just a builder on building site. Ended up getting into a bit of modelling that I didn't really want to do.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
I
did.
hated it. I get more comfortable being on television because you can be yourself. Modelling is like, you're just posing. It's embarrassing. I really
No,
wasn't.
it's not.
And I
we're
didn't
gonna
do
do
a lot
that.
anyway. I was a page 7 fella for about 1 week. That was it. But the thing with me getting into DIY shows, suddenly you're doing shows like every other day on Lorraine, on breakfast television, you know, the BBC. I was working with Endemol, and this was before social media anyway. So for me, it was like I was dragged through it all, loved it, worked my arse off through it all, but was doing pretty much what I was doing before, but there was a camera following me. And then suddenly, even for me, because DIY shows, everything has a cycle. It's cookery, it's lifestyle, it's this, it's that. And then suddenly it all just stopped. So for me, it was a similar thing. It's like, I can't go back on a building site. For a start now, I'm out. Everyone knows I'm gay. It's going to be...
Gay? Are you gay? Are you gay?
No, are you? I didn't realise.
Well, I think you're like...
I don't want to hear about those stories, fellas.
No, so it was a bit awkward. And even for me, it was like then finding something to do again, which is why I then set my own business up. But it did take a while. And so for my mental health, it was like, what should I do? I thought I was going to make loads of money. I thought I'd be on television forever. I might get my own DIY show, but it never happened. So it's the same with all these things. And like you saying, Ben, as a sportsman, suddenly sometimes things just end. But I'm glad I had, I did my apprenticeship. I had something, for what I could do. And I'd also learned a lot by working with all different designers, which is why I then set my own build design company up.
Oh. It's so important. It is so important that you have your own thing, like having a vision past what you're doing and past sports and past TV or whatever it is you're doing. It is important because, it won't last forever. It could get taken away at any point as well. So, the business idea is also a great idea. So I've actually got something I'm trying to do as well, like life coaching business as well, including like PT, like nutrition and that kind of side. So it's interesting you say that. I'm 22 and I was like, I probably should do this now because rugby's a fickle game now because it's coronavirus and those boys don't have jobs. So,
well, I think Levi's lucky in the fact that he's still, he's learned that lesson as a young man. He's learned that lesson as a young man. He's got plenty of time to sort of assess his situation as a sportsman or whatever he wants to go into. But it's smart from him, and that's very good from rugby as well, because the RPA is a foundation that looks after young players and old players and makes sure that you've always got your head looking at your future. So that when it does all stop, like Phil says, you're not left there with your hands in your pocket, twiddling your thumbs, thinking what we're going to do for the next 20 years of my life.
Ben, thanks for that. Thanks for that, mate. So the final topic of the show is we're going to talk about what you've all been doing in lockdown. I've just been driving everybody insane trying to get them on this panel. So that's what I've been doing. So thanks, boys. You're living the dream out here. Hopefully I'll get back to England at some point. Levi, what have you been doing, mate? You're a social beast and a sportsman. What's going on?
Well, to be honest, mate, I've been working on my music. So I'm writing songs and working on some demos. So I'm going to try and get those into the right ears, into the right places. And then just trying to keep fit. I'm looking for a club as well because I'm finished with Bath Rugby. So there's a few things on the horizon there. And really just trying to work on my music, to be honest, and this business idea that I've formulated. But my mum said to me that so my mum and dad are business people, so I've got to run it past them before I do anything, which is going to be hard. I reckon that's going to be the hardest part of it, is running it and past them and going through each stage. And if I can do that, then the business should be the easiest bit. So that's what I've been up to.
How cute.
Oh, isn't it?
Mummy and Daddy say I can do it, then I'll go and do it.
Mummy and Daddy,
Mum and Dad know best, remember.
Hey, well, there we go. Hey, look, we'll see. But and then other than that, getting pissed on the Crescent in Bath is one of the best things that you can do. So all my friends came back from home because came back to uni because they got to get all their stuff, right? So they've been back for like a couple of weeks, and we've just been getting bevied on the Crescent. So yeah, it's lovely.
With a social distance of 2 meters, though, right?
Oh,
Between-
God.
2 meters, of course.
That's
That's
on,
that's the standard, isn't it?
Ben, right? You know,
Yeah.
how did you take that transition out of team sport? You know, with the layers of, you know, the being in the public eye and sort of moving to New York where you're anonymous, because that's a mental health dialogue in itself, and it withdrawing from the old world.
There's a bear behind you, mate. There's a bear behind you.
Oh my God. Oh my God, it's a bear. This is Karen's dog, Sophie.
This is what happens in America. Oh, cutie.
I tell you what, it's a bloody madhouse, Karen's house.
To go back to what you just said, Andy, I left, but I signed to play rugby over in America. So I've come over to America to try and promote rugby over here. And it's like, you know, the smallest sport, trying to get something off the ground. You know, it's like MLS was nothing in America a few years ago, and it's grown.
Ben, I'm sorry. I bet you just have to look at the Americans with that face, don't you, buddy?
So my quarantine is just involved having a brand new baby. So all I've been doing is looking after her. And like Levi, I've just been working on other things. You know, I'm contemplating playing another year over here in America. The rugby's a lot less hard on my body. The season's only 6 months, so it gives me a lot more free time to do other things. And actually, I'm trying to look into, you know, not this sort of thing, but I'm looking to try to get into sporting presenting over here. And maybe I've just started up a production company to try and create our own highlight show surrounding the MLR, which is the Major League Rugby, which is the team, the sport that I'm involved in over here. So yeah, it's just giving me a lot of time to sort of reflect and sort of like make connections, have conversations, you know, figure out whether I wanted to stay in rugby, stay in coaching, whether I wanted to go TV way. So it's actually been quite good for me this time. And obviously having a newborn daughter means I get to spend plenty of time with her and enjoy her during this time as well.
On that note, I want to go to Phil in London, and I want to know, you know, you're a businessman, TV host. What have you gained from this experience, mate? Because have you been setting up businesses? Have you been chilling out? Have you been getting fat? What have you been doing?
Yeah, this COVID stone they talk about, because at school I did a lot of cookery. I worked in a bakery as my part-time job, and somehow I became a builder. So I sort of reverted back to that. So all I did was cook huge meals for about 6 people. The 2 of us ate them. We gained weight, drank lots of wine, lay on the sofa and watched Netflix, all the usual things. There wasn't much Netflix and chill. It was more Netflix, more food. So yeah, I've learned, you know, you do actually miss family. You miss communicating with friends, as in being out and about, especially when you go out a lot, because it's just me and him and dogs. And, you know, it's different, obviously, when you've got children, etc. But so I did miss things, miss people. And that's why I'm happy that it's sort of now starting to clear, and hopefully normality resumes.
Ben, final thought. What are you going to say, mate?
Just on the kids thing, because I was married to Una back in England. I had 2 kids from her, and that's one thing that's killed me the most about it. My kids were supposed to fly out to me in April. They were supposed to be here during that holiday. Luckily, they're allowed to fly out now. I'm flying back in a couple of weeks to go and get them to bring them back to America for the summer. But it's been a killer in terms of not seeing them. And, you know, they've been homeschooled. So I know Una's found it quite hard, but she's, you know, excelled at it. She's been brilliant at it. And, you know, so I mean, luckily we've got technology now where we can sit and do this sort of thing, and I can speak to them on Zoom, and I can speak to them on House Party and all those sort of things. So that's luckily I've had that relationship with them, but you know, I just miss not being able to squeeze them and kiss them on the head, you know, and just
could imagine.
Yeah, it is terrible, and loads of people across the whole world have been struck like that. So,
Ben, you're so cute. On that note, I'm going to wrap this panel up. I'm Andy Newton-Lee, live from Los Angeles. This has been Lockdown Lads. Let's get this series made. Thank you to everybody for being involved in this, and we'll see you soon.
If you have been affected by any of the issues raised during this programme, phone the number on screen or visit www.samaritans.org.